side of Guyana with this. As I said before, so much private interest, and when we talk about the corporate capture of government and this public-private interest that we see coming out as a new world order, then the new economic world order coming out of the World Economic Forum, that this is part and parcel of this agenda. This is part and parcel of this project, right? This neoliberal capitalistic project that they're unfolding in a vicious kind of way. So Guyana is literally trying to stand on its feet against this. But Guyana is really serious about not a blade of grass and if them cross. You remember that on the Forbes Burnham? Remember that saying on the Forbes Burnham? Not a blade of grass and if them cross, we kick them in the... That happened in the 80s. I was in high school, I can tell you. We were all saying it. Okay. So, this is serious business. The Venezuelan government maintains that Guyana does not have jurisdiction to grant concessions in maritime areas of the Essequibo. The referendum is scheduled to take place 6 weeks after Venezuela's opposition held a presidential primary that exceeded participation expectations, including in areas long considered strongholds of the ruling party. Kudos to Mayor Motley and Ralph Gonzalez for coming out and saying we are on the side of Guyana with this. As I said before, well, let me just say this quickly, that the court has also ruled that the case is admissible, right? After years of fruitless mediation failed to resolve the dispute, Guyana went to the World Court in 2018, asking judges to rule that the 1899 border decision is valid and binding. Venezuela argues that a 1966 agreement to resolve a dispute effectively nullified the original arbitration. And so the court has ruled, that is a world court, that the case is admissible and that it has jurisdiction. And so a decision would be final and legally binding is about to come down, although it might be years away, as many are saying. But a decision on the request discussed Tuesday will likely be issued within weeks. So that's another thing that we're paying attention to. CARICOM, the Caribbean community, has issued a statement where they say CARICOM notes the decision by the Venezuelan National Assembly to conduct a proper referendum on defending Venezuela's claim of Essequibo. CARICOM further notes that two of the questions approved to be posed in the referendum, if answered in the affirmative, would authorize the government of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela to embark on the annexation of territory, which constitutes part of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and to create a state within Venezuela known as Guyana Essequibo. Now, this is serious. So CARICOM has issued this statement. CARICOM reaffirms that international law strictly prohibits the government of one state from unilaterally seizing, annexing, or incorporating the territory of another state. An affirmative vote, as aforesaid, opens a door to the possible violation of this fundamental tenet of international law. So CARICOM talks about the language of the two questions. It also talks about hoping that Venezuela is not raising the prospect of using force or military means to get its own way in this controversy over territory. And they talk about how Venezuela has been the long-standing, all right, so they say CARICOM is insisting, she's online? All right, okay, yes, I'll take that call. All right, so meanwhile, CARICOM insists that the referendum proposed by Venezuela has no validity, bearing or standing in international law in relation to this controversy. The referendum is a purely domestic construct, but its summary effect is likely to undermine peace, tranquility, and security in the region. CARICOM reiterates its support for the judicial process and expresses the hope that Venezuela will engage fully in that process. So this is what CARICOM is doing, all kind of, highfalutin language, whereas Mayor Motley and Ralph Gonzalez says, not a blade of grass. This is what we want from CARICOM. We want the kind of response from CARICOM that we get from Mayor Motley and we get from Ralph Gonzalez. We want to hear Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Kamina Johnson-Smith, standing up strongly in the region, leading, as Jamaica is supposed to be leading on this, saying to Venezuela, no, we do not support this claim. Jamaica is standing with Guyana, etc., 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 in the same way that we found that we get from Ralph Gonzalez and Mayor Motley. All right, so I understand that there is a caller who wants to pick up on this topic that I'm talking about. Let's go ahead. Go ahead, Michelle. I'll take the call.
I wonder what Simpleton need to stand on that. See, that's another thing. We don't really hear a lot of our leaders speak to these kind of major issues, these regional issues and CARICOM issues and international issues, So, on some of these issues, unless challenged by a media personnel, you don't really get a position on some of these issues. But it would be nice to know where Simkit and Eve stand on this matter as well.
All right, just give me a minute there. I'm trying to find. Okay, here we go. Okay. Are you hearing me, caller? Good morning, Hojab.
Good morning, Miss Gabu. My heart carries.
It's just the way you call my name, Why me laugh? Because, you call my name away, sir. Well, good morning to you too. How you doing?
I'm giving thanks to the Almighty.
Yes.
Creator of existence.
Yes.
I really have a problem that I should share with you last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it is an Honorable Mosiah Marcus Garvey.
Yes.
And this was my burning issue that I didn't want. But I tried to call him, but I didn't get through.
Oh, well, here you are now, because I'm opening phone lines as of now, and you are the first caller. So go ahead.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I must say this to you.
Yes.
I am convinced and I acknowledge that Mr. Marcus Garvey is not dead.
Okay.
So let me say this to you, please.
Mm-hmm.
He promised us that he will be going away from Jamaica overseas, and they shall send back his body and his ashes. Say he, Marcus Garvey, is dead, but he, Marcus Garvey, said he is not dead.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Another thing I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say his body and his ashes came back here and buried. When his body came here in 1966, that's the only grave he walked past in the Forest Park,
Mm-hmm.
And did not stop there.
Okay.
No, I must say this to you also. Marcus Garvey predicted a lot of things that I don't even hear his son talking about these things, I know these things.
Mm-hmm.
He suggests to us, he prophesies us that blackbird is gonna stop the ticks or come back, and that happened.
Okay.
I've seen now where no blackbird is picking ticks.
Well, I see a lot of blackbird are pick ticks here.
Well, I don't see that in my area here.
Which parish you come from? Manchester. You need to come at St. Mary, man.
All right.
We have enough blackbird and enough ticks at St. Mary. Yes.
Marcus Garvey predicted us and prophesied us that there is a prime minister in Jamaica that he said gonna roll down King Street and he's gonna kick that head like a football.
So he said that don't happen.
No. And the next thing he said the civilian war that is gonna take place in Jamaica. It shall be like a bird in the hills watching us fighting that war.
Right. Well, so let me ask you a situation in I hear you. I hear the points you're making. I'm not going to challenge you on any of it. So let me ask you now, what is the situation in Manchester where you are in terms of the weather? I mean, I know it's the rains are over now, but I know there was some flooding in Manchester. How are you and where you are?
I'm in Port Manchester.
Mm-hmm. What's the situation?
A lot of roads that was bad is now badly more effective.
Mm-hmm.
The asphalt is leaking off.
Mm-hmm.
And pothole is getting very deep, like 10 inches.
Wow.
Up to maybe very close to a foot.
Wow. Wow.
Some place, and right here I'm standing actually close by here.
Mm-hmm.
In my district, there's a pothole actually want to come across the road. It's one side of the road already that a vehicle can pass. There's a one lane right here. Any other vehicle coming down up to stop here.
So have you heard anything? I mean, have you heard anything as to what the plans are to address the situation?
No, please, I have not heard that yet, but I heard that some money grant for this road, but it hasn't started to utilize that as yet, so I don't know what the reason for that. But
I can just imagine it.
A very deplorable condition now. Yes. I must have this for the motorist. I'm not a chauffeur, I don't own a vehicle, but for the rest of the individual, that's my community is littered all over, everywhere. A lot of vehicles. So I'm just looking for them. The road is in a very deplorable condition from one end to the other. And that's porous in Manchester. Yes, very district to be specific to harm and to it and wow.
Yeah, all right. So you've thrown that out there. So let me hope that the authorities are listening and that something will be done urgently. The roads were bad before and they hadn't done anything about it. But we really do hope now that now we pay some attention. There has to be some attention.
And not only that, to be honest with you, Mr. Abubahan,
yes.
There's a grant that is granted for this road, Redberry Road here, to farmers I think to the somewhere. I wondered why that money doesn't start when I get that.
Who granted that money?
I guess it come to the council, to the MP.
No, I mean, what did it do? Was it a government grant or like a European Union grant or foreign grant?
I believe it's a government grant. You know.
Okay. All right, so make a tracer grant there. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much for your input.
Oh, thank you. And just one last thing.
Yes.
See, if somebody else can call in to say about this with the prophecy that Marcus Garvey prophesied and to confirm it.
Yes, and I think that one of these days I'm going to do an entire program on the prophecies of Moalamu Marcus Messiah Garvey.
You want to tell you why? It's this. I want one to stop celebrate his birthday as a deceased person. That is my great issue, please, man.
All right, thank you.
The next one is coming up. The 17th of August. I want you to do a research before that you can have some knowledge or awareness and let us be now here and celebrate it the way it's supposed to be. Thank
you so much, my brother. Right, so we're taking your telephone calls at 618-0352. 974-5079, 974-5051. Remember to put 876 before that. So 876-618-0352 and 876-974-5079, etc., etc. All right, so I do know that the calls are there. We'll get them in as soon as we've cleared something in the background. So just hang on and we'll get your calls in. As I go back to the phone lines, hello caller, good morning. Hotep.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, greetings, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you, and you?
I am well, if you two are well.
This is about my third call for a long time.
Welcome back to the space. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kingston in the Waterloo area.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yes. This thing about the Bob Marley Beach.
Yes.
You notice that there have been announcement that it will be open before Christmas?
Not the Bob Marley Beach, the Little Duns River.
Little Duns River, yeah, correct. Yes. So I was hoping I would hear some calls in respect to this because it seems as if this is real, what you call real political maneuvering.
It's
Because
interesting.
notwithstanding the demonstrations that we have been, there have been, and I think there's a court thing there too.
Yes. It's interesting you make that point because we did have that interview scheduled. But one of the things that we do that we've pushed back all the interviews, as I said earlier, for this morning because I really wanted to reach out to the family to see how you're doing. And I thought it would be just a little bit insensitive to be talking about the beaches and so on, especially when there's so much water and so much, people still cleaning up.
Well, and I'm quite okay, but very concerned about the other persons who have been impacted.
Right. So that is why I kind of pushed back the serious interviews for next week. But yes, I saw that. I saw that we were scheduled to speak with Marcus Goff and Dr. Marcus Goff and Dr. Devon Taylor this morning, and also we had reached out to Matthew Samuda because he made the announcement. Well, we didn't confirm with him, but we did confirm Marcus and Devon.
So why no?
Well, no, he didn't say no. We just didn't reach him, but we are intending to do that.
I mean, why no this announcement when you have? I mean, because persons have been advocating,
because of politics. But you see, it's a politics. But here's the thing. Why I'm agreeing with you on the politics of it, right? The point is that what I want to hear from Mr. Matthew Samuda is why do it that way? Because Jabem and all of us as beach advocates, we have Marcus Goff has been ad nauseum talking about the fact that there is a colonial law on the books. I can only take one call at a time. Yeah, that there is a colonial law on the books that allows for what the government has been doing in terms of taking the beach from the beaches from the people who have been using it for years and years and years. So if you address that law, this is where real change will come from. Not a promise from a political stage that you're going to open Little Duns River like you're doing us a favor. I think you should open Little Duns River. Make the announcement if you will. But you're not doing us a favor. We already have this case in the court. As a matter of fact, it's scheduled to be to come up in court this week.
In other words, they're trying to be one step ahead of you people in terms of this thing. It's all about politics, as you're rightly saying. But as you say, I push back the discussion, and I'll respect that and and just to end.
Yeah, well, people, we will have to continue this discussion at some other time. I'm going to further listen to it and see if we need to really get into all of the aspects or just get into some sections of it, because it's actually like 2 hours plus and we only gone 50 something minutes, but we link up more times, people. Guidance and detection. One love, Rastafari.